this gets decided really in the suburbs of Toronto, the suburbs of Montreal, and the suburbs of Vancouver. The Conservatives have more or less a lock on most of rural Canada and much of the West. The Liberals, historically, and certainly under Justin Trudeau, were extremely strong in the core centers like downtown Toronto and certainly large parts of Quebec. So this is the way to think about this is more like it's the suburbs of Philadelphia. That's the Ohio of Canada.
Bucks County. Don
Exactly.
Mills is the Bucks County of Ohio.
That's right. That's right.
Derek, what's the feeling amongst the average Canadian about what's happening here in the U.S. and how we're kind of interacting with you guys in terms of tariffs and rhetoric and out of this administration?
The first word that comes to mind is anger, and I mean that. It's outright anger. There was a poll last week that was published asking Canadians how they view the United States, whether it's an ally country, an enemy country, or a neutral. For the first time, I think, ever, ally and enemy are equal. 30% of Canadians believe the U.S. is an ally, 30% say enemy, and most of the rest say neutral. And that is, I think a year ago, those numbers would not have looked anything like that. That is entirely because of the trade war and the 51st state taunts and Justin Trudeau. I mean, every poll that you see shows just a huge level of opposition to anything like a 51st state idea. It's in the 80 to 90% range. It's similar across the country. There is no political appetite up here for discussion about any type of union with the U.S.
Good morning on your commute across Canada in America. Derek Clouet with us right now from Bloomberg News in Toronto. Paul?
Derek, what do we expect to hear from Mr. Carney here in the coming days and weeks and months of his, going forward?
It's going to be a really fast transition from Trudeau to Carney. The two men will meet today. We expect Carney will be sworn in probably by the end of the week, and that he's really going to try to drag the Liberals from the left much more to the center to be a more business-friendly face, more focused on growth, and that he sees as sort of his pathway because he won the race because he's seen as the economic guy, and we're, if not in an economic crisis, then on the precipice of one.
What is the nature of the election? I mean, you've got tenure at the Globe and Mail, which I read pretty much every day. Good morning to David Shribman, writing for the Globe and Mail and the Boston Globe as well. Derek, how does the election differ from in America? Like, does Celine Dion show up the Wednesday before the election? I mean, how does it work?
It's an extremely quick election.
Yes.
When we get into a general election, it'll be about six weeks long. Uses the British parliamentary system, and you can have, as Justin Trudeau had for most of his time, a sort of semi-coalition government where you have to pull together multiple parties if one party does not get 50% of the seats in the House. So it'll be quick, and I think this one will be quite personal and nasty because there is a lot of animus built up between Pierre Poilievre and the Liberal side.